Hi, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what makes a strong lesson or what I believe needs to go into a lesson in order for it to be strong and not satisfactory. One of the first things that I do when planning a lesson is I think about obviously the standards and how those standards connect to what I want the kids to get out of the unit, what skills they need, and what I want them to learn. The standard is written in an objective, and the objective is visible when the kids come into the room. This objective is obtainable, this objective is clear, and usually involves three parts where it's basically connects with the standard. Then there's some sort of action verb, and then it tells you how in which you will achieve the objective or interface with the objective, whether that's reading or writing or through discussion or something like that. That's one of the first things. I also point out the inquiry question that we're working on for the unit. That can be the broader question. There's usually not a right or wrong answer about that, but I usually, again, point out the connection between the objective and the inquiry question. We usually warm up with some sort of skill, or perhaps we review what yesterday has, but a good lesson needs to have some sort of hook. So whether that's hooking them in from yesterday's lesson or whether that's a new hook, they need to sort of anticipate what they're going to learn about. One example of that might be recently I did some songs, some slave hymns, talking about hope, biblical hymns, and how they compared Moses to some sort of savior that would save them from slavery. And we listened to those first before we started investigating slavery and the discrimination that African Americans had throughout the South and the North, actually. Considerations that need to go into a lesson are like skill level, what types of skills, and the level of the class, what I need to clear up from yesterday, perhaps also what time needs to happen in terms of how much time they need to complete the desired skill. Am I going to allow enough time for them to complete it in one day? Is it going to be 2 days? Also, time management in a lesson is very important. Giving kids a time. I'd like you to do this in 5 minutes. I'd like you to complete this in 2 minutes. Allows them a sense of urgency. You can't waste time in a good lesson. Obviously, your materials need to be in order, whether that's textbook, whether that's copies, whether you've put something new on the website, or their iPad, you're using an app such as Docs Learn, or I've used Google Earth as well, or Notability. These are all things I could use throughout my class to either give added depth to the conversation that we're having. You need an agenda. We'll be working on this, whether that's in a PowerPoint formation and it goes simply through the agenda as we go through the lesson, or whether that's just simply written. It needs to be visible. I think a good lesson has differentiated either resources and or differentiated tasks. Things like News ELA is an iPad app. Actually, it's a website that you can get articles at different Lexile levels. So that would be one resource. Tasks need to be scaffolded. They need to. There needs to be tasks that are at a lower level, and then they work towards a high level. Towards the end of your lesson, I think you need to be able to make an evaluation or get to that higher level thinking can you pull the kids? Can the kids go to the corners? Um, Again, what did you get out of the lesson? Um, Obviously, throughout the lesson, you check for understanding at all levels, whether that's you going around, whether that's you polling kids, um, whether that's working with an individual group, one-on-one, whom you think might be lower in level or higher in level. What are these kids being challenged enough? Um, so you're augmenting their assignment um, as you walk and observe through the class. I think incorporating movement is important, at least at the middle school level, but I think also at the high school level. Um, Not every lesson, but I think getting kids to get up, move around, to think allows them to, what do I want to say? It allows them a different perspective in the room and maybe helps them, I don't know, get the blood flowing through their brain. Just not a completely seated situation all the time is, I think, better for a learning situation. Finally, you probably need a closure on a good lesson. You need, sometimes I use an exit ticket, sometimes I use Socrative with the iPads, and I have them pull out so that I can see what kind of learning we've accomplished, or if they got the concept that I wanted them. Although it's more difficult when you have something like you're teaching a skill like annotation and reading, that's difficult. But if you apply that towards perhaps one tough sentence at the end of the hour, and then you get kids to annotate that, then you can kind of see the result that way. Anyway, those are some of the things that go into a good, strong lesson.